All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about this. So, Kamala, cackling Kamala. She doesn't really cackle anymore. She's kind of toned that down. She did bring it back in one of her rallies before, but anyway, that's beside the point. She had a little interview. I say little. It was like 24 minutes or so long, and it was on MSNBC. So, another network that's favorable to her. She come out and now I was wrong. I said in the video last night that she was gonna say all the same talking points, that she'd have the same questions. It was a little different though. Although she did point out the fact that she was from a middle class family again. She made that talking point. She always does. But she come out. She had a couple of questions. They went through a few things. We're just gonna briefly cover a few things that I think was fairly easy to say no, that's not exactly correct. But anyway, let's just dive right into it here. We'll let me shrink me down here. Oh, that's the wrong one. My bad. Hold on. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now, right off the bat, we'll just get into it here. So check this out.
Madam Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future.
Yeah.
But still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition. We have aspirations. We have dreams. We can see what's possible.
Right off the bat, let me tell you something. She never actually tells anything about her policies. The only thing that she'll tout is the fact that she's going to give $25,000 to first-time homebuyers, which is a talking point of hers every single interview she does, and that she's going to give startup companies $50,000 for a startup. And again, I've said it every time. Where's that money going to come from? For one, for two, what's that going to do to the economy? House prices are going to go up with that $25,000. They're gonna recoup that money somehow, either from the taxpayers or tacking it at the end of the home loan, or just raising the price of the house entirely. And there's also a supply issue. Something I haven't talked about before, but supply is that's why a lot of houses aren't going up right now, is because of supply issues. There are some houses going up, don't get me wrong. I've seen it. But for the most part, there's a supply issue, and that's why there's not houses being built willy-nilly right now, because of the supply issues. And again, she's in office right now. She can go to Joe Biden and say, hey, we need to do this. But
We have an incredible work ethic, but not everyone has the access to the opportunities that allow them to achieve those things. But we don't lack for those things. But not everyone, gets handed stuff on a silver platter. And so my vision for the economy, I call it an opportunity economy, is about making sure that all Americans, wherever they start, wherever they are, have the ability to actually achieve those dreams and those ambitions, which include, for middle-class families, just being able to know that their hard work allows them to get ahead, right?
see, right there, you think she's going to go into something that she's going to explain details on one of her plans, one of her things, but she don't. She takes a left turn and then she keeps it broad so that nobody actually knows exactly what she's going to do, exactly how she's going to implement these things. This is what she does.
I think we can't and we shouldn't aspire to have an economy that just allows people to get by. People want to do more than just get by. They want to get ahead. And I come from the middle class. Look, my mother raised my sister and me. She worked.
Okay, so there's the middle class thing again. She's going to bring it up every single time. She's going to bring it up every single time because she's trying to get that middle class vote. That's That's just about the gist of it. We'll move on to the next one here.
And I'm not mad at anybody for being rich, but they should pay their fair share. But tax cuts for the billionaires and the top corporations in our country, and then not really paying much attention to middle class families. My perspective on the economy is when you grow the middle class, America's economy is stronger. And there's empirical evidence to prove my point correct.
Then let me ask you about taxes.
Okay, that's I'm not gonna debate that. I'm not gonna try to debunk that, because I think that if you grow the middle class, yes, the economy gets better. I'm not gonna try to say that otherwise. But as far as this has been a talking point for the Democrats for years and years and years and years, that the top 1% don't pay their fair share in taxes. They've been saying it for years, ever since I can remember. Obama said it. Biden's been saying it. Kamala's saying it. But you know what? The top percent of income earners in the United States pay roughly 40% of the taxes in this country. So how is that not the fair share? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm part of, full disclosure, I make decent amount of money, okay? I'm lower middle class, I guess you would say. But you know what? I think that there should be a flat rate across the board. Whether you're wealthy, whether you're lower income, whether you're middle class, there should be a flat rate, period. Taxes were supposed to end a long time ago, and they just kept it going. I mean, look at the Boston Tea Party. We got irate and mad over a tax over a beverage, and now everything is taxed. You're taxed on your house, your land, groceries, gasoline. There's a death tax. I mean, it's insane how much we're taxed on. And it's just insane to me. There shouldn't be, I don't think there should be any taxes. But I think a flat tax rate across the board would be the most ideal. It'd be fair, whether you make $1 billion a year or you make $40,000 a year. There should be a flat rate. It's up to you to make money. Anyway, look, I'm going to show you this here. Now, Elon Musk, this is one person that the left really hates. They did love him until he, bought out Twitter and promoted free speech. Now they hate him all of a sudden. But anyway, this guy makes a lot of money, okay, and it's mostly tied up in stocks. But the guy's smart, okay, and think about when he sold a bunch of stocks, he paid a crap ton of taxes on that stock when he sold it. I do not believe in the unrealized gains taxes. I think that's BS, and people shouldn't have to pay that because it's going to make people broke. Think about if you have a house and you bought it for $150,000. Now it's worth $250,000. She wants to implement 25% unrealized gain taxes on you. So say for just as an example, that house, the value of it goes up $100,000 in 1 year. You're going to have to pay the government $25,000 in order to keep your house. Who has that kind of money? Even if you bought a house at $150,000, nobody's got $25,000 laying around, especially middle or lower income families. They don't have 25 grand laying around that they can just give to the government every year. Their house goes up in value. It's just not possible. That's what she wants to implement. And it's not feasible. But anyway, I digress. Look, so he said, for those wondering, I will pay over $11 billion in taxes this year. That was in 21. Okay. Now, he didn't pay that much, but according to CNN, average 833 shares that he, and he sold, what was it? He sold a bunch, but it says that he actually paid between $400 million and $700 million in taxes on those that he sold. So that's not how. Tell me how that's not him paying his fair share. That's a lot of money. 400 to 700 million dollars just from selling some stocks that he owned. I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair, but that's just me, I guess. Look, and okay, so I want to see this too. We're going to take a look at this. What the 1% pay in taxes. Look, just like I said, they account for more than 40% of the federal income taxes paid. Okay, that's the top 1% in America. They account for 40% of the federal income taxes. 40%. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, I don't understand their talking point of the wealthy don't pay their fair share. I don't understand it because they're paying the majority of the taxes in this country. I don't see how it's not fair. I don't. Anyway, let's move on to the next one here. Okay, let's see.
Tariffs aren't unique to President Trump. President Biden has tariffs in place. He's actually looking to potentially implement more. Where do you come out on? Is there a good tariff, a bad tariff?
Well, part of it is you don't just throw around the idea of just tariffs across the board, and that's part of the problem with Donald Trump. Frankly, I'm going to, and I say this in all sincerity, he's just not very serious about how he thinks about some of these issues. And one must be serious.
Tell me how he's not.
And have a
Tell me how he's not
and a real
serious.
plan that's not just about some talking point ending in an exclamation at a political rally, but actually putting the thought into what will be the return on the investment, what will be the economic impact on everyday people. And when you look at my plans, you will see what those benefits will be. $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. You know what that means? Then you're creating...
Yeah, I know exactly what that means. I just said it. It means higher prices on the homes and more taxes, or however they're going to do it. But they're not. They're going to make that money up somehow, whether it comes out of taxes, raising the price on the house, or just inflation across the board. They're going to make that money up somehow.
Creating the ability of that working person to build intergenerational wealth. Doing the work of a $6,000 child tax credit, doing the work of a $50,000 tax deduction for first-time small businesses, startups, because right now...
That's a real plan.
It's a real plan, because right now, and again, it's about paying attention to the details.
It's not a real plan, it's talking points.
I'm serious about my enthusiasm and for small businesses and my belief in what they will do as part of America's economic engine.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, look, tariffs, I'm not a big economic guy, but look, I can tell you, I've looked into it, I've read about it a little bit, and I can tell you from the way I understand it, look, tariffs, the reason that President Trump keeps talking about the tariffs is because of the fact that he wants to bring American jobs back. The point of him issuing tariffs on foreign countries is so it makes it so difficult for them to sell back into the U.S. because all these jobs are going overseas to other countries, and he wants the jobs to stay here in America and provide jobs for American people. He doesn't want them going overseas. The whole point of the tariffs is to make it so that they don't make a good enough profit on the products coming back into the U.S. That way the jobs stay here in the U.S. and we can buy domestically instead of from foreign countries. Because it is cheaper for companies to send a company overseas and have manufacturing there and send it back into the U.S. The tariffs get put into place so that it makes it difficult for that company to sell back into the U.S. It doesn't turn a good enough profit for them in order for them to keep doing that. It makes it so that keeping the jobs here in the U.S., the manufacturing jobs, whether it be manufacturing or anything else, it's so that the jobs stay in the U.S. and that we buy domestically instead of foreign. That's his plan with the tariffs. He makes it difficult for companies to move something overseas and make it cheaper. I mean, think about, look, there was a thing I looked up on it. I'm going to show you. Okay. Right here. So, Walmart imports a Chinese non-stick fry pan for $5 with tariffs currently at 10%. It pays 50 cents to the U.S. Treasury. Walmart adds its value through its in U.S. expenditures, warehousing, distribution, online stores, profit market. Previous shelf price was 15. Now it's 15.50. Who notices? Who cares? U.S. consumers still buy, China still sells, and the U.S. Treasury gets its 50 cents, which is ultimately a tax paid on the U.S. consumer taxpayer. Okay, so look, the way I understand that is, if we're and that's the other thing, if we're taxing China for importing goods to the U.S., that's less taxes that we have to pay on something that we buy. So I mean, potentially, maybe, like I said, the way I understand it, maybe potentially that tax goes down on that product, perhaps. I'm not sure, like I said, but I know ultimately the ultimate goal for the tariffs is to keep American jobs in America and not send them overseas where they get cheap labor. That's the whole point of it. That's what he's trying to get across every time he talks about tariffs. And I don't think she really she doesn't. I don't think she gets it. Honestly, I don't think she does. But hey, uh, next little clip here. Let's go.
On Friday, you are going to the border. Immigration is complicated. One of the issues is an economic one. And no one is eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, and I'm glad not to be talking about that. But there are people there that are stressed, that feel that they're at capacity. Communities around the country that have legal immigration, many have said, we're at capacity. And many feel like the government has said to them, well, adapt, sit down, be quiet. This is how it is.
That's exactly what they're being told.
What would the Harris administration do for those communities who've taken in many, many legal immigrants but are at capacity?
Well, first of all, we do have a broken immigration system.
Look, it's broken because she broke it. Anyway, she was put in charge of immigration for this country, and she's the one that broke it. record border crossings in the 4 years that she's been in office. That's just the fact of it. And look, I'm going to show you this real quick. I'll come back to this video. But look, this is from The Blaze. And I seen this morning when I was going through my emails. It's just insane. Look. Get rid of that. Okay. They have decided to go silent. Springfield police cut radio access. Springfield descends into absolute turmoil, says Ohio police chief. Look, I read this morning. Now, this pretty much explains that Springfield, Ohio, have cut off their radios, allowing neighboring police forces access to their radios. Why would they do that? Because it's getting insane. Look, the whole thing about, you can debate all you want about the cats and the dogs crap, but look, the fact of the matter is that Springfield, Ohio is in chaos because they've got a population of just over 50,000, and they had an influx of 20,000 Haitian immigrants that come into their community. That's the problem. That's the issue, okay? Look, this guy, I'm gonna read you this just as soon as I can find it here. People, okay. He told Blaze News that Tremont City law enforcement is doing everything possible to crack down on the potential deadly crashes, but noted that Springfield appears to be protecting Haitian nationals from facing any real consequences for reckless driving. People that shouldn't be driving, they're out there, they're allowing them to drive. This is from the police chief in Tremont City. Duncan told Rojas about the recent traffic stop he conducted involving a Haitian national. He didn't even have a license, he said. According to Duncan, the driver was speeding through Tremont City going 44 in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. He said it was the second time over a 2-week period that he pulled the driver over and had the individual's car towed. Okay? Rojas asked Duncan whether Springfield would have towed the vehicle in that instance. He replied no. I mean, it's crazy. Now, why is Springfield not... Why did they cut off their radios, allowing the neighboring police force to hear the interactions that they're... Why would they do that? Because I'm telling you right now, you can call me a conspiracy theorist, whatever you want. Like, Ray, you're talking nonsense. Oh, that's fine. You can tell me that. But I'm telling you, in my personal opinion, the Springfield situation is getting worse, And the Biden and Harris administration does not want it out there. And I'm telling you, in my personal opinion, I think that they have contacted these people and they have told them not to let stories get out. That's what I think. You can call me crazy, a conspiracy theorist, whatever you want, but I'm telling you, that's what I think. So, anyway, let's go back to this. Oh, wrong one. There we go.
And it needs to be fixed. And if we take a step back, months ago, some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress came together with others, proposed a border security bill.
Oh, here we go again.
That would have put 1,500 new border agents on the.
I'm going to tell you again, I've said it every single time she's brought this talking point up. It got killed because of the fact that it had $70 billion going to Ukraine. That's the reason it got shut down. And it had about, I want to say it was 10 billion. 10 going to the border. And not a dime of it for the wall. So that's why it got shut down. Not because of anything that Trump did, not because he wants to keep the border issue an issue for the election. It got shut down because it was a foreign aid bill, not a border bill.
Border to help those hardworking border agents who are there right now working around the clock. Would have put more money into stemming the flow of fentanyl, which is killing Americans around our country and devastating communities.
You can do it now. Go close the border now.
Transnational criminal organizations. Which
this is another thing. Look, she keeps talking about this border bill. It's not a border bill. It's a foreign aid bill. Keeps talking about it like that's the reason why we have a problem at the border. You could have fixed it before. Even before you put that bill up. You could have fixed it before. You can fix it now. Just go into the White House, go into the Oval Office, and say, we're going to close the border. That's it. Simple. Easy. Just go do it.
In my career, I've prosecuted. Donald Trump got word of the bill, realized it was going to fix a problem he wanted to run on, and told them to kill the bill, don't put it up for a vote. He killed a bill that would have actually been a solution because he wants
a guy
to
that's
run on
not
the problem
even in office
instead of fixing
got
the
a bill
problem.
killed.
And that's part of what needs to be.
Anyway, look, this is crazy. These people, it's the same talking points over and over again, like I said, and it's not. Anyway, let's go to this one here.
You have laid out policy in great detail.
Yeah.
But the economy is an unpredictable beast. And you are running for a job that takes extraordinary instinct and guts.
Yeah.
What's the last time you had to make a gut decision? This here is very prescribed, it's very controlled.
Yeah. Probably the biggest gut decision I've made most recently is to choose my running mate. Yeah.
Well, really?
There were lots of good,
Okay.
incredible candidates. And ultimately, that came down to a gut decision.
I know I'm out of time.
Okay, look. It's not a gut decision. I'm going to tell you exactly. Look, and many people have said it. Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, the Quartering, everybody has had it. Everybody knows why you picked Tim Walz and not Shapiro. Because Shapiro's a Jew. He's Jewish. And that you don't want to upset the pro-Hamas people. That's why you chose Tim Walz over Shapiro. That's it. That's the whole reasoning behind it. You didn't want to upset your base that, is pro-Hamas, so you didn't pick him. That's it. It wasn't a gut decision. It was a decision based on the fact that you didn't want to alienate a portion of your base that is pro-Hamas. That's it. That's all. Anyway. But hey, I mean, who knows? I mean, look, it's getting crazy. I'm telling you, it's gonna get crazier. This interview didn't shed any more light on what anybody already knew. The very last talking point that she made was just about women's rights and the abortion thing, and she just lied about that too. Let's see. Take a look at this real quick. And Let me get it back up here. I'm sorry. Okay. Now,
I know I'm out of time, but then I just want to ask you a question from my gut.
Okay.
Because today we're talking about we're talking about the economy.
Yeah.
And people don't think often about reproductive rights being an economic issue, but it is. A woman's ability to plan her future, her education, her life. Today, and in the last few days, Donald Trump keeps talking about it and how in overturning Roe v. Wade, he helped women. He protected women. He says they're
it went back
miserable
to the
today,
states
they're poorer today,
where
they're
it
more
should have been in the
vulnerable
first
today.
place.
He said he will be the protector of women if elected. Can you respond to that?
So,
Let me point out a fact, too. Also, again, this is the whole... I'm not saying that's what's going on, but look, this is like 4 or 5 or 6 different interviews now, including the debate, the couple interviews, 2 or 3 interviews that she's had on networks. But she's still wearing those same earrings. Just pointing it out.
Donald Trump is also the person who said women should be punished for exercising a decision that they rightly should be able to make about their own body and their future.
He did not say that.
So I think we would all agree that as a result of that perspective that he has about women, he also then chose 3 members of the United States Supreme Court who did as he intended, undid the protections of Roe v. Wade, and now in state after state, you see laws being passed that...
Look, he got it back to the states where it needs to be. And I've told you my stance on this. I do not think abortion is not a form of birth control. It shouldn't be treated as such. That's it. I mean, if you want to be irresponsible, it's not a form of birth control. It shouldn't be treated as such. That's all I'm going to say about it. Anyway, that's about the gist of it. I mean, and then after that, they just, she thanked her, and then they went on about their thing. So, so there's that. Glad I can get this in the morning here, but I didn't get a chance to see it until this morning, and like I said, it doesn't shed any light on anything else. I think every time that she talks, people just see her more for what she really is. She doesn't have any actual talking points other than she grew up in a middle-class family, and that she wants to, give free money away. $25,000 for first-time home buyers. It's not going to work, but she's just going to throw money out in the economy and think it's going to work. It's not. It doesn't work that way. But that's her talking points, and then she's just going to stick with them. I'm telling you right now, I don't see her putting anything else out there. She might do a few more interviews, as it were, but she's not. There's nothing new coming out of her mouth. So we'll stay with it, and we'll see what happens. I told you last night, I think President Trump, he's gaining a lot more momentum, and I think he's going to win all the swing states. But that's just my opinion. You let me know, and thanks again for hanging out, and I will see you next time.